Hi, we're going to be looking at Microsoft Excel today again. We're going to look at more intermediate stuff today. We're going to be looking at how to define names in Excel. I'm not sure about this, defining names in Excel, if we should really do it here or maybe in an advanced data. I think we talked a bit about this last week. We're going to look into subtotal. So we're going to look into subtotals, grouping data. I think we'll have to talk about filtering data as well. Oh yeah, I've got it here, filtering data. We're going to look at how to use Excel tables and what are the main benefits of using Excel tables. We're going to look at charts. Insert charts in your presentation, like present something in the form of graph, charts. We're going to look at that, and we're going to look at different chart options in Excel. We're going to be creating a pivot table today, and how to create pivot tables and what you can do with your pivot tables. We're going to look at some functions in Excel. There are some there are different types of functions and formulas in Excel. We're going to look at information functions, or logical functions, text functions, or statistical functions, lookup functions. We'll just touch a bit on all this. And if we can, we'll look at finding, replacing headers or footers, comments and stuff. Okay. So let's get right into it. Let's start with defining data and sorting data. Let's see, what should we use? So I have a small data here. Let me move it to the middle of my screen. Okay. So this is just a small table. This is a color of eyes. And color of the hair. Sorry, can I just check if you can hear me? Because someone said they can't hear me, so just checking that you can hear me all right. Okay, thanks. Okay. So if you have any questions, I'll be checking regularly for questions. Like, I'll be pausing to look at your questions. So if you just send a message in, then we'll take that. So what are we? Okay. So the first thing, let's do a quick sort. We want to sort this data. We can sort in different ways. We can use a filter. So we can. The main way to put a filter on a table is, if you select the table, go to your data and click on filter. And then when you click on filter, you can see these arrows would appear on the header. Even if you don't have an heading, it will appear on the first row you've selected. So you can easily click on this down button and you can sort A to Z. If they are text, it will give you the option of sorting A to Z. If it's numbers, it will give you the option of sorting maybe from largest to smallest, or vice versa. So depending on what it's identified the text to be, then it will give you those options. So to sort by color of eyes, let's sort by color of eyes. So all I need to do is click on this, sort A to Z, and then, of course, it will sort in alphabetical order. And if I want to sort by name, all I need to do is click on it, sort A to Z, and then it will sort in alphabetical order. Let's just change its name to Andrew to make it unique. Okay. So that's just simply sorting. Another way to sort, if we select the old data, there's actually a box here for sort, and we can click on it. So I'm going to move it down so you see what I'm doing. So we want to sort this data. Before I do the sort, maybe a bit of background. So if, for instance, we want to sort in two different ways. We want to sort by name and then sort by color of eyes. I'm going to make this data a bit, so maybe we have like 3 IDs. So that's, I'm just going to put a bit more data here. Red. Yes, purple eyes, there's anything like that, and blonde. And then I'm just going to move this around so that we can actually see what this sort would do when I sort it. Let's see Jackie has blue eyes and yellow hair, and then we'll probably have another person here with eyes and brown hair. Okay, so if we want to sort this data, but we want to sort by name as well as the color of the eyes. So we want to everybody with the same name to appear, with the same name to appear first. Then on the second column, we want to with color of the eyes as well. So we can just select this. If we click on sort, because we want to sort twice, we can add levels to this. So I'm going to add a level. I want to sort twice. So the first thing I want to do is I want to sort by color of eyes. So I want to sort by color of eyes, A to Z. And after sorting by color of eyes, I want you to now sort by the name. Then sort by name. And OK. And the first thing it will do is it will sort by color of the eyes, and then it will sort by the name. Or maybe if it's the other way around, then we can sort by name first and color of eyes. So it keeps all the names in to order, then it will sort by color of the eyes. You might not really see the effect of this now, but it's usually good when you want to sort within, for instance, if you have 4 regions, east, west, north, and south. You want to keep the region as it is, and you still want to sort within. First sort within, then sort with the region, and then you get your sort right. So you can actually add levels depending on how you want to sort the data. So that's simple sorting. Next, okay. So Excel tables. I have another data here. So this is something we have in Excel, which are tables, data. I have the tables anyway. Actually, I can't even find my tables. Let's see. Because I move between different versions of Excel. So sometimes you can't even find the function you want. Yeah, this is a formatted table. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So I want to format this data as a table. So all we need to do is we select all. We can either select by, selecting the first cell, holding your mouse down, and just dragging it down up to the last cell. Another way to select is just click anywhere on the table, on the data, and do a Control A. That will select everything. Another way to select is you can actually select the first row. No, if I select the first row, and just do your Control and Shift button and your down arrow, and it will select it down. So you can select the first cell, go to your Control and Shift, press the Control and Shift button down. With your right arrow, if you select the right arrow, it will select it up to the last cell on that row. If you press your down arrow, it will select it up to the last row on that table. So you can select like that in case you have a very large data. That's the best way to select. So I've selected this. I want to format this as a table. So I'll click on Format as a table, and you have so many you can choose from. So what it does is that it will turn this to like a table in Excel. I'm just going to pick one. And I've turned my data into a table. So once you have it as a table, it brings out this table tool that you can use to actually play around with the data. The main importance of a table is when you have a table, it kind of Excel would help you predict what you want to do. For instance, if I want to continue typing here, and let's assume I add another column, let's say country. So if you notice, this country has joined with the table, so it would make it part of the table. If I put a formula here, I want like the country to be C2, for instance, equal to C2. This is just an example. When I press enter, what table actually does is, this is not doing it properly. I'm going to delete that. So let's say, let me make it just a formula. So total. So I want to know the total sold. So on column 2, 24 units were sold. Let's assume this is per item sold. So I want to know how much that was. That will be equal to 24 times this, and enter. I don't know if it's the type of table I've picked, but what tables normally does for you is that once you do one formula, it would assume that you want to do it down, all the way down. So it will just flash fill the table for you. For some reason it's not doing it, but you might have experienced it. So it would flash fill that table for you. Sometimes you don't want it to do that. So you can just reverse it, and I don't know why it's not coming up with that option. But normally that's one of the advantages of tables. It would predict what you want to do and then just flash fill it down for you. And then we have the table tools. When you go to table tools, you can do quite a bit of stuff. For instance, you can summarize this. You can turn this into a pivot table. So we'll turn this to a pivot table shortly. We can remove duplicates. So for instance, want to remove duplicates from the table. If you click on remove duplicates, what it does is if there's any duplicated row, it would remove it. So let's click OK. There's no duplicate found. So that means all this data is unique. That is looking at every row and comparing it to the next row. So it's unique. If, for instance, we want to remove duplicates from this data, I'm just going to copy just one column now. Control C. Let's put it on somewhere else. Okay, so this, I want to remove duplicates from here. If you go to File, if you go to Conditional Formatting, honestly, where is my remove duplicates? Let's see, let me find them. Okay, so remove duplicate used to be somewhere around here, but I can't seem to find it. Maybe because of the format, the version I'm using, but for some reason it's not here. Let's see if I can find it somewhere else. This is very funny. I know this has happened before. I was looking for this remove duplicate, but on the version I used on my other laptop, it's just right there. So you can actually remove the duplicate. I'll see if I can find it later. Let's see. So filter data. Okay. So let's look at charts. So let's look at inserting data charts in from our data. Charts are really good if you're like doing a presentation and you want to like focus on changes as against the numbers. So, and it's always very good on presentation. There are different types of charts you can insert. So we have, if you go to your insert button here, we have different types of charts. So if you go to all charts, we can have line charts, pie, bar, area. So there's so many charts you can use here. Some are more common than others, like the column, the line, the pie, the bar, the area. Those are quite common ones you see around. Let's start with column. So the way to insert a chart is you select the data first. In this case, this is our Q1 sales. So this is just January, February, March sales for 4 regions. So I'm going to select this data. What I want to do is instead of presenting this number, you want to present it in a visual form so that people can actually see the differences between this region and the movement in the figures. So I will select this data. I will click on charts. I can actually use this one here, or you can open it up. Let's open it up so we see all charts. Let's start with a column chart. So that's the column chart. So that is an example. I already showed you an example of what it's going to look like. Let's pick a simple one, which is this, and that is okay. So that is our line chart. That is a line chart. You can actually move this chart. So I'm going to move it. You can copy it. So you can copy it like Excel to Word to PowerPoint. You can copy it. All you need to do is click on it, do a Ctrl+C and paste it wherever you want it, or right click and copy, and then you can paste it anywhere you like. So if you right click, if we copy, we can always paste it anywhere we like. So that you can use the paste button here. You can right click and paste. You can use the Ctrl+V. So I'm just going to undo that. We don't need to open line chart. So this is a line chart. This is my Q1 sales. So I have a chart title. You can actually go to this chart title and type in there. So I want this to be Q1 sales. So you can go in and change that. So I've got my figures on the Y axis and the months and the regions on the X axis. And then you have this, you have January, February, March. It shows you the colors for the different months. So you can actually change the color. For instance, if you're doing a presentation for a company and they have like a color scheme, you can change the color of this here. The thing with colors is they are grouped in a certain way, so you have to pick the closest one to the one you need. So let's see. So that's all gray, that's all orange. This is another set of colors. So you can pick the color you want, depending on what is closest to what you want it to be. So let's pick that. You can change the style here. So if you click on style, there are different styles that will come up that you can change to. So if you don't want this anymore, if you want this, you can change that. You can change to this, where you have the figures there. You can change it to this. And you can change to this, so you can go back to the first one. So you can change the style. This you can deselect or select the data you want. So if you don't want match anymore for this. Let's see. Let's unselect. So that's a match figure. If we don't want match anymore, let's see. If we unselect, apply, okay. So what I did was I just took off March and February. Apply, so you have to apply it, and then it takes March or whatever you've deselected off. I'm going to put March back and apply. So this is a simple line chart. We can also, let's try another chart. Let's see, insert. This time around, let's do a line chart. Okay, so we have a line chart. I'll just move it and drag it to the side here. Oh, the first one, sorry, the first one was not line. The first one was the column chart. This is the line chart. Yeah, the first one was the column chart, not line chart. So this was column. So this is a line chart. And you can do exactly the same thing you did to this, on this. So you can change the title, you can change the color. Let's see. Another chart we can do, let's see. Insert another one, just quickly. In the area, that's the area chart. So this is an area chart. So depending on what you want to do, you can pick any of these charts. Other type of chart you can do is like a combination chart, which is a pi of pi and bar of pi. And what that does is it actually just shoots out a bit of the chart to focus more on it. It usually looks very nice in presentations. Let's insert a pi over pi. So it's select the data, insert, pivot, let's see, pi, and that's a combination pi over pi, okay. So what it does is actually just split out this bit here, the gray one, and just opens it up here. So it looks very nice in presentations depending on what you're doing. You can actually decide to like separate the chart out to look like this. Another one you can do quickly is, let's do bar over pi. I'm just going to do this and we'll move on from here. Pi, we have bar over pi. And then that is bar over pi. So and again, open it up and then you can open that up. Okay. So that's mainly just charts and pies. Okay. So let's move on to Let's move on to pivot tables. and how to create pivot tables. And from pivot tables, you can also create pivot charts as well. Let's see. Let's use our batch shop data here. I'm going to delete this that I did. So to create a pivot table, the first thing you have to do is select the data. I'm just going to copy this. I'll copy this to a new page. Okay. So the first thing we need to do, cell dates format. Okay, I wanted to copy just value. I didn't want to copy the table as it is. But if you notice, my date has changed to a different format. So I'm just going to format it again back to date. I don't know if we touched this last week, formatting. I don't know if we did date formatting. But to format anything, just select the data. If you right click, then you get the data. You can open up the format cells box, and then you can format your data the way you want it. So if you want currency, then you can do that. So for instance, for sales, I want currency. So I'm just going to right click, format cells. I can actually go to currency or go to accounting. So currency, I want a pound there, and that's okay. I don't want it in 2 decimal places. I can just reduce it by clicking here, up here. So we're going to put this in a pivot table. And the main purpose of a pivot is it helps you to filter data. It's another way of filtering data and analyzing data. So the first thing is we're going to select the data we want to put in a pivot. The first thing you have to know for a pivot table is your data, you must have heading for your data, otherwise you can't create a pivot table. So we have headings for every column, so we can put it in a pivot table. So I'll select all, so that's Control A, select all, insert, and your first box here should be pivot table. So if you click on pivot table, it comes up with this box. It's going to ask you where you want the pivots. So the default is a new worksheet, so it will just put the pivot on a new worksheet for you. So if I click on a new worksheet, it will just open up in a new sheet for you, which is sheet 5. But because I want us to see the data as I'm doing it, so I want it in that same sheet, and so I'll just undo this. I can delete this sheet. So what I want is insert, pivot table. Instead of new worksheet here, I'm going to say existing worksheet, and it's going to ask me where I want to put this pivot. So all I need to do is select where I want to put the pivot, and OK. And then I have my pivot beside this. So this is my pivot table. And what do I need on this pivot? It depends on what I'm doing. So for instance, this is my data. Let's see. So I have salesperson, I have products. So let's see who is the salesperson of the year, for instance, who has the highest sales figure. So the first thing I want to do is I want to select my salesperson. So this is my salesperson. If I click on it, Excel will look at the best place that you might want to put it. So you put it on that row. Sometimes it doesn't put it where you want it to be. So you can easily just drag it to where you want it to be. So if you want it to be a filter, you move it there. But in this case, I want it to be a row, so it's fine. And then I want sales. So that's what I want. I just want sales. So I'll put sales. under my values. So it sums my sale. Sometimes it might not sum the sale. It might think that you just want to count, and then you see count of sales here. So in that case, what you do is you write, if you click on it, you go to value field settings, and you pick the option you want. So you can pick a sum, average, so you have other options you can pick here. So I'm going to cancel this. Okay, so I've got a question. To copy a new page, to copy to the new page, right click on the tab and select no, I think this is for me. No, I didn't want. I wasn't trying to copy that whole page. I wanted to copy it as data, not as table. That was why I copied it. So we have our pivot table here, and then so this is just summary of sales per person, and this is if, for instance, I want to know the product, Andrew, or all the salespeople, I want to see the product is actually sold. So I will just add products to my data. So I can pick products and just put it there. So I can just drag it there, or I can just click on it. And then I have products. So I have the products that they've sold. If I want to be able to move this pivot around easily, I prefer to use a classic view. So if you right click on this, you have pivot table options. You have some other options that you can use. So if it's like a large pivot and you want to like be able to move the columns around, then I use the classic display option, classic pivot display. I click that, and then you can move these around. So what it does is, so if I want the product to start first before the salesperson, I can literally drag it. I can move the product. Let me just close this one. No. You should be able to move this product. Let me add something else to move. And one thing I need to mention is the field list. It can be quite big, so if it's blocking what you're doing, you can always collapse it. So if you close it, you can close it, and to get it back, all you need to do is click on this field list, and then you can get it back. Yes, so can you have the data, the copy of data I'm using? Yes, you can have the data I'm using. Actually, it's just a random data I downloaded from the internet. So yes, you can have this. So this is Andrew. This is these are the totals per sold person. If I want the total per product. So instead of total for the salespeople, I want the product this time around. I can always remove my salesperson, and then I've got my product here. So we only have 3 products actually. And then if I want the total of product and salesperson, I can add my salesperson back. So you can actually just play around with this data. And if you don't want, so there are so many functions on this pivot table that you can use. So if you right click, if you click anywhere on the pivot table, if you right click, pivot table options, it gives you different options, okay? So if you don't like the layout, you want to merge and center, you can do that. For totals on display, if you don't want totals to show, so the default is it will give you grand total for rows and columns, but sometimes you don't want that. So if you uncheck this too, or uncheck the one you don't want, then the totals will disappear accordingly. So this is just a simple pivot table. And from a pivot table, you can also make a pivot chart. So this is your pivot chart. So this pivot chart is just the same pivot chart we've done previously, and it's connected to the pivot table. So let's do a line. So it looks weird. So that's the pivot chart connected. It's connected to this. I'm going to make this smaller. So let's, for instance, take off the salesperson, and then we'll see the pivot, the chart will change. So I'm just going to delete the pivot table. We don't need that right now. So let's see, let's put the salesperson back. Pivot table tools. One thing we can also insert to this pivot is a slicer. And what a slicer does, it helps us filter this. So this is a slicer. I'm going to close this. That's a slicer. And I want to, for instance, let's select everything first. Okay. So we have different slices. I'm going to delete some of them, actually. I'm going to. Okay. So, pivot table 2, insert slicer. Let's slice by the salesperson. Okay. I'm going to move it to the side. So, if this is our pivot table, so if I want to like filter by Andrew, for instance, what I need to do is I'm going to unselect the other people, and what happens is I only see Andrew. So if your pivot table is very big and you just want to see one person at a time, I also see Andrew, Gavin, and Park. So what this app like is just a filter. So you can add this by the side to filter it, or you can also filter from air. So you also have filters here that you can use to filter. And you can see that the slicer just does what I do on the pivot table. So that's just a slicer. And you can see we have different options to customize the slicer up here, so you can change the colors. Okay. You can move the slicer around too, just select it and drag it. In this case, I'm just going to delete that for now. Okay. So this is mainly a pivot table. That's how to insert a pivot table. And you can also copy this pivot and place it somewhere else. So if you want to copy the old pivot, you want it to still be linked to the data, you need to copy the old pivot. In that way, it's still linked to the data. If you don't select the old pivot and copy, then it's no more linked to the data. You just copy a part of that pivot, which might be what you want to do. But if you still want to link to the data, you have to copy the whole thing. So if you do select all, do a Ctrl+C, paste it somewhere else, and you can see that this is still a pivot. The way to know if it's still a pivot is if you click on it, you can see the pivot table tool will appear, and for a pivot, you cannot change anything in it. So for bike, I'm trying to delete bike. It will not let me delete it. You cannot change that. The only thing you can change is you can change it to the heading. So you can change in UK. So it will let you change the heading. But one thing it won't let you do is to change the data in the pivot, because it's all linked to this data. If you want to change anything on the pivot, you have to change the source data. Okay. So one thing I want to show quickly is how to insert a calculated field. in a pivot. So for instance, you can either insert it on your table and add it to the pivot if that's easier for you, or you can actually insert a calculated field on the pivot itself. So for instance, if I want to insert a field to multiply units by sales, so if for instance, if the sales is per item, that's equal to this times sales. If I want to insert a field like this in the pivot, and that field is not part of my data, but I can calculate it, you can actually insert a calculated field in your pivot, and the way to do it is if you click on your pivot, if you go to your pivot table tools, and there's this field items and sets. If you click on that, if you pull that down, this calculated field. If you click on the calculated field, so for instance, we want to insert a calculated field. Okay, let's say this field is let's name it units by sales. Okay, and it's just a simple way you put formulas on your Excel. So it's going to be equal to. So I want to multiply units. So it's going to be. I'll click on units multiplied by sales. So that's multiplied by sales. That is what I want to add. So I'm going to click add, and then it creates this unit by sales for me, and OK. So I have unit by sales. So if you notice, so I have this unit by sales. It's already giving me a calculated field. So if you need a calculated field, you can insert the calculated field in your data, as long as it's simple, as in you can put formulas to calculate within the pivot table. So that is pivot table. Okay. Let's look at some functions within Excel. Let's look at functions within Excel. Functions within Excel. Let's see. Let's look at some functions. Let's start with text function. Actually, let's start with text function. What should we use? Okay, let's start with text functions. So text formulas, the functions can be found here. So we have some text functions. We have so under text functions, there are so many functions there. So, but there are some that are really useful that you might need. Like you have the left, you have the len, you have lower, mid, proper, replace. So these are things like are more commonly used. There are so many other functions there. I don't use that for it. So we have concatenate. So for instance, let's do some text functions. Text functions. Okay. So we want to combine the data in F2 and the data in G2 together. So we can use the concatenate function, which is mainly adding Andrews and Southwest. So it will be equal to, if you click on F2, oh, no, I'm using concatenate. So equal to concatenate, open the bracket, F2, comma, G2, and then close the bracket. So it gives you Andrew Southwest. Another way to do this is just use your ampersand function, just the key on your keyboard. And I find that easier to use because sometimes before you try concatenating, you would have done the other one. So if you type equal to and click on Andrews and click on Southwest. So what concatenate does is just joins whatever you want to join together. So for instance, it might be a case that you have like a name and last name, first name and last name on two different columns, and you want to merge them together, you can use that function. Then if you notice there's no space between these. So what I'm going to do is I need to insert space. So the way to insert space is I'll do it again, equal to, I'll click on this, I'll put my ampersand, I would type that, put a space, and close that. So that's like the quote sign. And then my ampersand again, and then click on Southwest. And then I'll put a space in between it. So it's as easy as just clicking on the data and ampersand, space, ampersand, and the next data. So you can join as many data, as many cells as you like together with this. So I've got Andrew Southwest, so Control C. I'm just going to value this because I want to do something else. So that is, so that's concatenate, and you can also use this ampersand. Okay, so there are some text functions like, for instance, let's look at, you want to find the length of the data in this cell. So all you need to do is equal to len, open the bracket, click on this, and this might be useful because maybe you want to like transfer data to like another system, and the field required, it can only take a particular amount of characters. So you know the number of characters there, so you can actually use that to get the number of characters instead of counting. I'm going to go back to... So when you are using tables, okay, when you look at this, my formula, it makes it complicated when you look at the formula like this, because you're actually not sure what it's picking. So if you're trying to read the formula you don't know. So that's one of the disadvantages of tables. I want to go back to, I'm going to go back to this this data to make it easier. I'll just copy this. Let's put it here. So I'm just going to delete all this. Okay. So let's do that again. Good. Equal to Andrews and ampersand Southwest. So that's Andrew Southwest. If I click on it, you can actually see clearly the cells I'm referencing in my formula. So that's why I like the plain text. So I'll copy, I'll just value this. So I'm talking about the length. So for length, that's the length function. So it would be equal to this, no, equal to length. I'll click on the text. So my Andrew Southwest is 17. I have a space in between. So for this cell, I want to like, so for instance, if you just want a particular number of characters, either from the left, from the right, or from the middle, there are functions to use. So if it's from the left, use the left function. So I want just 4 characters from here, from Andrew Southwest. I'm going to just highlight that so you see the data where I'm referring to. So the left function is going to be equal to left. I want only 4 characters from this, so I'll select that, comma 4, and that's it. It will just give me the first 4 characters from the left. If I want the right, it would be equal to right, I'll click on this, and I want 5 characters from the right. So it's going to give me 5 characters. If I want this character from the middle, use the mid function, and then what it does is it will give you the characters from where you specified and the number of characters. So in this case, I'm going to use mid, still the same, but I want my middle to start from, let's say character 5, comma, and I want 3 characters after that. So that's character 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So character 5 is E, and I want 3 characters after that. So that's what it's given me. So you just need select and then the number of characters you want. So those are, if for instance you have like names and they are all in like small letters, I'm just going to change that to small. You use the proper function, and what it does is it will change this to a proper now, like it will start the first letter with capital. So in case you don't names you want to present and you don't want names in all lowercase, so it would be proper. I'll click on that, and that would make it up. That would make the first letter capital. And also, if you want it in uppercase, if it's all lowercase, you can use upper and lower. So it's equal to. I know if it's just small data, it might just be easier to just type it in. But sometimes you have so much data that you just need to like use a formula to convert it. So let's see, equal to upper array, and then you have all uppercase, and then the same thing applies to lower. In this case, we want array to be lower, and that is it. So those are text functions. There are other text functions that you can use as well. So, yeah. Let's look at some statistical functions like average. Okay. Let's look at some statistical functions. Average. So this is just a simple data. You want to find the average of, so these are items, date sold, and the cost of the item. You want to find an average. You can use different formulas for average. So you can actually use equal to average, and then all you need to do is select the data you're finding the average, and that is it. Another way of finding average is to use a subtotal. So you can use a subtotal to find average. So if you type in a subtotal, if you open the bracket, you have different options, and you can select average and comma, and then select the data you want and enter. So we've used different formulas for this, and it's giving us the same thing. Another thing, you can use the subtotal function. The subtotal, let me just say, the subtotal totals data that you can view. Let me go back to that data so that we can do a subtotal before we do the different subtotals. Okay. So this is filtered. So what I want to do, I want a subtotal for this for the sales. I'm going to go to the end of the data, and you can actually I'm just going to select my data. Where's my... Let me go back to the plain data. Let's go back to the plain one. Okay. So I'm going to... So if you want to sum this data, if you click on the last cell and you click on auto sum, it would sum it for you. And it would just reference the cell if it thinks you want to sum. If it doesn't, you can always change the selection. In this case, I want to use a subtotal. So subtotal, I can actually type it in. I want to sum it. And my subtotal, my sum option on the subtotal is 9, comma, and then I select the data I want to sum and enter. The reason why I'm using a subtotal instead of the sum is the sum will sum all the data here. But even when I filter, it will still show you the same sum. But because I don't want I want to see the sum changing as I filter, I'm going to just filter this data so you can see. So I've got a total here of everything, which is 645,000. Now I want that total to change based on what my selection is. That is why I've used the top total. So for instance, I only want to see Andrew's sales. And Andrew is 20,300. If I've used a sum, it will still sum all the data that I'm referencing, but because it's a subtotal, it will only sum what you have filtered. Okay, my screen just went off. Okay, so we only sum what you have filtered. So I want, in this case, I want David and Gavin, and then the sum will change. One thing you can also use the subtotal for, you can use it to find the average, like we did it last time. The only thing you're going to be changing will be this first number. That will change to 1. So it would be subtotal, and you can use a count. You can use it to count. You can use it to average. Let's count, for instance. Let's do 2, comma, and this is our data. Enter. Well, it's 12. It's formatting it as a currency. I don't want currency, so I can always change it here. So you can use the subtotal function for different things. I'm going to clear this. One thing I want to quickly touch on before we finish is the lookup functions. I want us to do the lookup function and see what data. I'm just looking for a simple data to use for my lookup function. Okay, let's use this one. Okay, and okay, so let's look at VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP. So for lookup functions, for it to really work, you have to have unique data. In this case, I don't have unique data. Well, I'll show you what it does when you don't have unique data and when you have unique data. So in this case, so I want, so this is Angela, for instance. I want to know the color of, so this is like a long data, it's unique. And I want to know the color of Angela's eyes. How do I pick that from the data? So you can use what we call a VLOOKUP. So what it does is, it will look at this data. So you're going to point it to Angela, and it's going to pick whatever is in the column you want it to pick next to Angela. So in this case, if you type equal to VLOOKUP, okay, let's bring up the dialog function. So once you type it, you can always bring up the dialog function by pressing F8. So let's say the lookup. We want to look up. The lookup. So it brings out the box. And what in this case, what I want to look up is, I want to look up Angela. So that's my lookup function. I'll click on Angela. And my table, where do I want to look this up from? This is my table. So I'll select my table here. I'm going to select my table. And what I'm saying is this column index saying, look for Angela on the first column and return whatever the column number I put here. So in this case, it's column I, which is the second column to where Angela is. So which will be 1 and 2. So that is 2. So look up column 2. And what this range lookup is I'm going to tell you, you either put true or false. When you put true, it will bring up what is close. If it doesn't find Angela, it brings up what is close to it. In this case, I don't want what is close to it. I want it to bring up exactly what I want it to bring out. So I'm going to put false. So what it's saying is that if you can't find Angela, just leave it. And OK. And then that is Angela. That is blue eyes. So it's looking at this table, looking for Angela and bringing back what is on the second column. What I do with this VLOOKUP is, if you don't know, you can always copy this formula and paste it to your data, as long as you know what it's picking up. So if I click on this now, I know that I'm using, just going to go back. I'm using Angela, that's H2. I'm using this table, and I'm picking the second column on this table. So as long as you know that, you can always copy this formula and paste it in your data and just move the cells around. So for instance, let's put Jackie and James here. So that's Jackie and James. I wanted to, so for instance, Control C. I've copied this formula. It's still working because it's referencing the same table. But if you see, because my formula here is relative, not absolute, this table, I should make it absolute. And the way to make it absolute is, I mentioned this last week, just put a $sign, then it doesn't move. So if I don't want it to move, I put a $sign on the row and on the column, and then it doesn't move when you copy it or when you drag it. So I've copied it here, and it's referencing Jackie, and it's bringing out Jackie also has blue eyes. So James, let's see, James has gray eyes. Let's look at Andy, for instance. So Andy has brown eyes. Yes, we have an Andy with brown eyes, but because our data is not unique, it would look for Andy and it will bring up the first thing that it sees. So in this case, it's Andy with the brown eyes. That's the first Andy on the table. That's what it's going to bring out. And that means if you do this, it will not be correct because we have other Andys on this table and it's not going to bring it out no matter what you do. So when you want to do a VLOOKUP, make sure your data is unique. So make sure your data is unique. The way to make your data unique is you can create a unique field. So I can make this my unique field, for instance. And I can combine data from 2 columns. So for instance, let me combine these two. So let me combine this data. And then it makes it unique because I have Andy brown, Andy purple, Andy white, and Angela blue. So this is now unique. So because my formula was not absolute, it's gonna give me an error. So I'm gonna do that again. Enter. And that is, so that's my unique field. So in this way, this is the only way I can know, I will be able to bring out the right thing from this table. So in this case, I want all the Andes. Let's say Ctrl V. Values. And just value. And in this case, I want the hair color for all the Andes. So what I would do is, I would do a VLOOKUP. Let me copy this VLOOKUP so you see how I'm going to change the selection. I'm going to copy this. So of course, what it's looking at, you cannot find Andy Brown. So if you click on this formula here, what I want it to look, so my table is not big enough. I need to drag my table to include this unique field. So that is that. So it's now looking at this first column here for Andy Brown. And then I want it to return color of hair, which is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll change this to 5. I'm going to change that column to 5. Enter. And then I've got Andy Brown as bold hair. So which is that you can always drag it down. So you can always see where it's referencing and then copy it and just move your data around. I think that's all we'll be able to do today. How do you get to analyze? So someone said, how do you get to analyze, how do you get the analyze tab, please? I'm not sure what is analyze. So Ruby, I'm not sure what you're asking, the analyze tab. I'm not sure what the analyze tab is. Analyze, where I'm actually not sure what you're asking, sorry. I think that's all we'll be able to do today. The copy of the data I can send it. Thanks for logging in, everyone. This would be the end of our session today. If you have any other questions, let me know, and I can go back and clarify.